Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordnance. Bringing you something a little different today, something you probably never expected, but it sure is cool. It is a CETME LC, C standing for carbine, and this cool retractable stock. What first attracted me to it was, guess what? Oh, look at that, OD green. Is that cool or what? So, just pulled it out of its custom case it comes with, and we're going to take a couple first shots, and then we'll come back and tell you all about it. So check it out. So guys, these guns come with a really nice Cerakote finish on them, and in the manual the manufacturer suggests that you put something on the finish here to keep the ejecting shells from damaging the finish if you are someone who cares about that. So I put some Velcro tabs on there just to kind of keep it from anything happening. But these are first shots. We're just going to take them, you know, off the shoulder here and shoot at some steel and see what happens. First shots, it charges kind of like an AK, or like an HK, but there's no groove for an HK slap. It is 5.56. We'll get back and tell you a lot more about it, but let's take a few shots, see how it runs. Well, that's not a good sign. Did not pick up a round. Got a feeling that's my fault. I don't think I had the mag all the way in. Let's see. Magwell is extremely tight. See if that chambered one. Kind of felt like it. Yep. First thing I can say is this recoil is amazing. It's so soft and you can kind of feel the roll and the push. Really cool. Wow. Really cool. Everything's very stiff on this gun, but kind of the coolest recoil I have felt on a rifle in a long time. Well guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you liked our quick first shots there. And yeah, we got ourselves a Spanish CETME. These are built by MARCOLMAR, and let's tell you a little bit about them. I guess where to start? Well, give you a little history on the CETME L, and this actually happens to be a CETME LC, C standing for carbine, that being the retractable stock and the short barrel. But let's tell you where these guns came from. So after World War II, you had Mauser engineers looking for a gig, right? They went to France for a little bit. After that, they settled in Spain. Spain was looking for someone to design their next military rifle. And these engineers set out to do just that. So essentially, this is the predecessor of the roller lock HK. Those engineers went on to develop those guns, and pretty much an HK 93, right? 223. and quite interesting. They had fooled around with some other versions in 308 originally, but with NATO, or Spain coming into NATO, they needed to get into this cartridge. So without going too in depth in the history, it's kind of how it came about. They made the standard rifle, which is the CETME L with the fixed stock, and they made this. It only lasted about a decade until Spain moved on to their next iteration, and mostly because it had some issues. Most of those issues revolved around the mags and their feeding. It takes standard NATO 5.56 mags, AR mags, and it actually comes with one. The company that makes them, is it Ideal? Duramag, comes with one, nice bright follower. And after those first shots, I haven't put the video together yet, so we'll see if I leave some of it in or take it out, but we had some problems originally going to shoot it, cocked it, let the cocking lever go, went to fire it, and nothing. And the reason being, it hadn't stripped around because the mag wasn't all the way in. This Magwell was extremely tight. I mean tight. Have to pound it in, and once you got it past the release, you could and get it in there. And a lot of times you'd think it was seated and it wasn't. And those first shots, I had some problems with that. We've had a little problem with getting these mags seated because it's so tight. Hopefully that's in there. We'll see. Had some problems. What else? The safety lever was extremely tight, and cocking it as well. You would go to cock it and it was just so hard, and sometimes it'd be easy, sometimes it'd be hard. You'd never know what was going on. So I got those first shots done and a few other clips you'll see in the video here, and went home for the night. It was getting late. You'll see some of the shooting. It's getting real dark. And I was gonna go out and run this thing again today, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go through this thing, because we just took it out of the box and it ran great. It was just that mag was so tight. A few things I just didn't like the way it felt. Don't get me wrong, extreme quality, built really well, but just overly tight all the way around, everything on it. So I tore it apart with the idea that I'm just going to go through it, clean it, lube it. That'll probably loosen things up, and we'll go from there. So I popped the mag out of it. By the way, this mag release really stiff, or it was, I should say, but the mag release still is a little stiff. But this Magwell, you can't use a Magpul mag in there. It's just too tight, and the way the molding is, when it hits here, it won't go all the way in. I did get one to work. Actually, that wasn't a Magpul, that was a Mission First Tactical fit, and ran well. Anyhow, I'm looking at it. Why is it so tight? Hopefully this Magwell isn't the problem I think it might be, but you know, I guess it'll wear in, but look at that. I mean, tight. So I go to the mag and I'm looking for wear marks, and I see some, and they're toward the front of the mag here. And I'm looking at the gun and I could see a little crease or indentation in the Magwell here. And I had read online someone else had a crushed Magwell when they got the gun. Well, mine wasn't crushed, but I could just see a slight indentation where I looked on the mag, and where I looked in the Magwell, I could see a little wear mark. So I disassembled the gun. I actually put it on a Magpul, I forget what they call them. They're the blocks, vice blocks. I put it on there, I lined it up with there, and just nudged the gun a little bit, and it straightened it right out. And when I tell you tight, you'd get this mag and you'd have to get it in. And others I've handled have done the same thing. Well, now look at this. Beautiful, right? This is still stiff, but I mean, boom, one finger. So that was the issue there, and you can't see anything. It's perfect. What else did I do? On the mag catch, the edge of it was very sharp, so I took an ultra fine stone and just stoned the edge. You'll hear in other videos where guys recommend, you know, holding the mag catch in, this and that. Well, with just a little bit of stoning, and I mean a few strokes just to smooth it out, and boom. So this thing is beautiful. The mags fall free, which they wouldn't do before, and now not a big deal. Fixed that. That made me extremely happy. As far as the cocking, it was just gritted up like any delayed blowback gun. They get dirty, and it wasn't oiled all that well from the factory. So now, really nice, no problems. The trigger was also a little, I won't say gritty, it just notchy, and with just a drop of oil, really nice now, really smooth. Single stage, you take up a little bit of play, and there's some creep but not much, and then a nice clean break, short reset, and nice trigger. So I actually took all the parts out, threw them in the ultrasonic, lubed them all, put them back together. I also, there's a tab for the safety. I adjusted that while I was in there. Now the safety moves much nicer. It just took a little rockadizing, I should say. We made it rock and roll a little bit with the little Rockford Ordnance know-how. And the gun is 100 times better. Sure is smooth recoiling. Just love it. So now it functions like a rifle should. And with everything going on here, it took most of the day because I was pulled away from it constantly. But we got it running well. So now we got to get it out to the range some more and do a little more shooting. But let's talk about the initial shots there and some of the others here. On target right out of the box. Thing shoots really well. The recoils, like, I guess if you've shot an HK or any other roller locker gun, you'll understand. But the recoil impulse is really interesting and super soft, super nice. It just shot extremely well. The gun seems very compact, very thin, but yet it's pretty heavy. This is about an 8-pound gun, but it doesn't handle like one. It handles really well. So let's get back to MARCOLMAR and what they did. They imported the kits, the fixed stocked rifles. Most that they rebuilt were in decent shape, but these LCs, the carbines, were in excellent shape. There were about 600, 650, something like that of these, and quite a few more of the fixed stock, and then there's some scope versions, but this is probably one of the rarer versions they brought in. And hey, it's cool, right? Anything with a collapsible stock is neat. They had these kits, and they wanted these guns to come out kind of like a new gun. Think back to the old Wassers when they came in with military parts, and you'd have some new parts, some old parts, and you'd look at the gun in the box, it's a new gun, but it looked like a used gun, right? They didn't want that. They wanted the gun to look new. And they have developed copies of the original furniture on the gun, a few other things, and the gun is essentially new. They've put a really nice Cerakote finish on it. There's this OD green, which is what attracted me to it, and it just looks great. And this gun was green to begin with, the ones that were in Spanish service. I believe there were some black ones as well. These guns did see service in Desert Storm, and they kind of developed a reputation there as well for not wanting to run well. And again, it was mostly due to the mags. Spanish soldiers would try to get their hands on some of the US mags because they just ran better. Also, their ammunition was a problem. They cheaped out on the ammo, and this gun is set up for hot ammo. So, you know, running something that's up there is what you'll want to do in these. But I ran some 193, functioned perfect. I ran some reloads, functioned perfect. Just anything I had, I threw in it, and it ran great. We didn't have a single jam, nothing, and I'm sure it's going to run better now that I've got everything set up here. As far as this LC goes, so originally this had like a 12 and a half inch barrel, and to make it legal, they went with a welded and pinned flash hider. So it's extended here, this length of barrel and the flash hider, and it's welded and pinned right under this sling ring here. This sling ring rotates, so the sling can be on the side or in the straight up position. And when you take the gun apart, you'll see that there's the weld and the pin just underneath there. So they give you the original flash hider in the package, and if you want to SBR it, you can take the pin out, remove this, and SBR it, and put the original flash hider on, and have the SBR with the 12 and a half inch barrel, which would be really, really cool. Also, you wouldn't even have to worry about 922R parts, because on an SBR it doesn't matter. However, we've already got a lot of US stuff on here, the pistol grip, the handguard, a few other things, the mag, and either way wouldn't matter. You've got an adjustable sight here, 200 yards and 400 yards. You just flip it, and they work really well. They're peep sight, and so far, just shooting it works really well. The handguard works great. It's very comfortable. It's slim. It widens toward the back. You can hook your finger over the end here, and it just feels really comfortable, and the heat is not a big deal. Let's talk about the charging system on this, because to the untrained eye, somebody would think, hey, that's an HK93, right? But a few differences, and one of the big ones is the charging handle up here. It's not round, so you can't rotate it to lock it into that locked position and do the old HK slap. It's square, so here's your charging handle, and it folds flat and it locks out of the way, but you pop it out like that and charge it. Now, how do you hold it back? Real simple. Let me extend the stock. I'll show you something real quick on the stock. You don't have to hit the button and hold it. It's semi-spring loaded, so hit it, there's a little spring, it pops it out, and then just pull it out. So to lock it back, charge the weapon, hold it back, and push in on this button right here. So a little cumbersome, but you can do it, and then it locks it back. So you can't do that slap because there's no notch here. But that's one of the major differences. Internally, there's some differences between the rifle and the carbine, so you can't just go and swap fixed stocks for the extendable stock. Differences being the bolt carrier, the charging handle rod length, the spring, the recoil spring. There's one other part I think too, but I can't recall off the top of my head. So it could be done because the receiver is the same. However, you'd have to replace quite a few parts. When I say the gun is the same, there is a couple other differences. On this carbine, there's no bayonet lug. These guns have the bayonet mounts above the barrel, which is really cool, and I wish it had one, because I think it'd be cool to have an example of a weapon with the bayonet above it. But the bayonet lug would be right here on the end, and there'd be a little portion milled out here, but it doesn't have it, simply because in the SBR form, there's not enough length to support the bayonet. So doesn't have one, no big deal, but just one of those differences. I'm trying to think of some other differences I saw between this and the real deal. I've seen where the real one has some engraving here, made in Spain on this side, but all the other lettering and logos, serial numbers, all of that are the same as the original, and they're filled in with paint really nice. The gun's done really well in that regard. Just really cool. It comes apart super easy. You push these two pins out and the back comes off. From there you can slide the bolt and carrier out. That comes apart super simple. One pin up here and your handguard comes off. One pin here and remove the safety and your whole fire control group comes out. Really serviceable, easy to clean, neat system. So I can't wait to get it out for round 2 now that the mag is functioning well and all, and really put it through its paces. Kind of cool, you got a pick rail up here. I guess you could mount a higher red dot or something up there, so you could bring it or make it a little more modern, so to speak. But I just think it's super cool in this rendition, in the color, and that it's got some history and was actually used in wartime. So it's true Milser. They did a really nice job with the furniture, reproducing it. Even the furniture in the charging handle here, the green. Just a nice job. Rubber butt plate on the extendable stock with some ribs. It grips really nice. The recoil is hard to get over because it's so light and so different. There's a few shots you'll see where I do, you know, like 3 rounds real quick, and you watch that barrel, it just stays on there, just boom, boom, boom. You know, put it to fire. Trigger is, I wonder what the trigger pull is. We could see, oh, that's the other thing. I had it locked back, so let's lock it back again. And the best way to charge this, be careful not to ride the bolt handle because it won't go into battery. The best way to do it is to push the button and get that thing to slam home, because here's what happens. So you bring it forward and it's not in battery. Watch when I pull the trigger. Watch the bolt move. See that? So, is there a forward assist? Yes. Let me show you. What a soldier would have to do is take a round and put it in this hole here and push forward, and there's your forward assist. So you got that. When you pull this out, the trigger guard's removable. I'm just trying to think of a few other things I may have missed. But really cool gun. We're looking forward to running it through its paces and just shooting the crap out of it. I got a load of ammo ready to go for it, and we're going to go out and have some fun. So look forward to some more videos. Just thought you guys would like to see this, and yeah, glad to have it. Thanks to Select Fire Guns for getting this for us, and worked out really well. If you guys have any questions about it, or you have one, please comment down in the comments. We're happy to answer any questions on it, and I love to hear if you've got one. Thinking maybe we'll add a fixed stock if I can get my hands on one, so we'll see. Anyhow, guys, thanks very much. Please make sure you subscribe. Please click the thumbs up button, smash that thing. It really helps the video. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications of our new videos. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.